So thank you so much. And thank you to Alumni Society for this. And thank you all for being here. Really, really happy I was able to carve out time to be able to talk to you all about laddering up strategically. So to be able to talk about this, just want to bring you guys back a little bit to what it was like for me growing up. I want to ask Jill to bring up a cute little photo that I have of my grandparents. My abuelo, who you see on the left, el morenito ahí, when I was a kid, he taught me how to save. And that was one of my earliest lessons about laddering up strategically. If you want, you could take the photo down. um, so he would walk me and my sister to school every day and pick us up. And we were so broke and poor that he would just, anytime there was change on the floor, just serendipitously, he would kind of do this and point to it because he barely spoke English. And I knew that meant pick it up because when I had enough saved, he would sneak me without telling my mom to the bodega to get candy. So that was one of my lessons, earliest lessons about laddering up strategically, and I never even knew it. It had also taught me about saving. So the lesson for me was if you want to have money to go to the bodega, you have to save enough to buy something. So pick up what you see, or if somebody gives you money, save it, and it ladders up to you buying something. So that paid off in dividends, and it helped me realize that I needed to go through certain steps and stages in life to accomplish my goals. Now, Joe, if you could bring up the second blackmail photo, it's me and my sister, and that's me in the blue on the right. She's the cuter one. As a kid, growing up really, really poor, I was surrounded by a ton of bad stuff, and my biggest inspiration was my immediate environment. All the examples of what I didn't want to be were right there, within touch, within reach, within scent, within eyesight, and it was just enough for me to figure out which way I wanted to go because I knew I didn't want to be everything that was around me. So I knew that meant finishing school and going to college and starting a career. And doing all of that led me to having a behind the scenes career in TV news, but I wasn't getting the professional experience and challenge that I wanted. And that in itself helped me to shift pivot into public relations, which is what I do now. Um, However, I didn't realize back then, but yet again, serendipitously, that negative experience helped me to ladder up strategically into what I'm doing now. So after a few years, I got the sense that I wouldn't ascend if I didn't obtain a certain set of skills. So that led me to go to grad school. Again, laddering up strategically. And I learned the life changing lesson there. One of, and well, a few, but one of the biggest ones was the difference between strategy and tactics. And how I like to explain it to anyone who really doesn't understand the difference is strategy to me is like an umbrella, and the tactics are those plastic or metal prongs that hold the umbrella up. So it's on you to open the umbrella to make it work. And if you know that those prongs that have those little plastic ends to keep it in place, um, those little things all make the umbrella stay open. So the tactics are every single one of those little prongs, all the things that you need to do to make the umbrella open and stay open. So the strategy is your umbrella, and the tactics are the little things that lead up to it. So that for me helps me to remember to ladder up strategically. Every single project that I do, whether it's professional, personal, whatever have you, I make sure that I have all those little prongs identified and that I know what I need to do to make sure they all line up so they can open this huge umbrella up, which is the goal, the strategy. So that's a huge lesson that I learned. It's made life a lot easier. Ever since then, everything I do follows this pretty much. My first job at a high level after graduating grad school was at the mayor's office in Austin, Texas. And about 6 months in, the pandemic happened. So boy, did I get hit with a bunch of crisis. And that umbrella analogy really helped me there. And after a while, I knew that I missed home, and I knew that there were a certain set of goals that I wanted to accomplish. Home is here in New York City. So again, that umbrella strategy came into practice. I said I was going to come back home to New York City. I was going to get back into city government. I was going to buy an apartment. I was going to do all these things. And of course, another thing I learned in grad school took place. Again, kind of in line to what Josean was saying, there are going to be things that we do because it's ingrained in us, learned in us through our family, through our environment, whatever else have you. But there are going to be times where you need to do things differently to express your uniqueness because you are that amazing, you are that awesome. But also, one thing I learned in grad school is you're going to feel really uncomfortable doing those things because it's just different and it's just new. And the best thing you can do is try to look at that discomfort as you being excited about trying something different and not necessarily nervousness or anxiety. Um, it's just framing it differently, and it can literally change your whole perception as far as going into something. So I ended up making this whole strategy and coming back here. So the strategy again, all was just come back home and get back into city government so you can earn your pension. And all the tactics I started months early, strategic meetings with folks, finding out how the mayor's race was doing here, all the fun stuff. And I ended up getting a job at a nonprofit, but that job was a means to an end. It was part of the tactics, part of the little prongs of the umbrella. I knew I needed to get a job and pay attention to the mayor's race while I was in that job. Luckily enough for me, I had an amazing job, which I unfortunately just left because they're great, but I'm here now at the mayor's office. Um, Another thing that I want to leave you guys with, apart from the analogy and the, get used to being uncomfortable at times to try new things, is this other thing I learned in grad school, which is a 30-60-90 rule. And I'm trying to do it now, but at the rate with which this mayor moves, boy, am I like I have it on like speed. I guess it's like amplified. So the 30-60-90 rule goes something like in the first 30 days of starting a new job or starting a new anything, learn what what is needed of you in that role and that opportunity, and find out who the people are and what the process is. Master that, know that. Don't just dive right in. Learn it first. The role, the people, and the process. And in the next 60 days, interact with people, and get out there and just try to find out more how the process works, what these people do for a living, what their preferences are, what could make your job easier, your volunteer opportunity easier. um, that should be done by 60 days. And 90 days is when you start already having those critical conversations, and you're defining what you want your volunteer opportunity, your board membership, or your new job to look like and feel like for you. So you're having those conversations and you're creating those goals to define what the rest of your tenure is going to look like, and then you can just go out there and crush it. Unfortunately for me in this role, when I started, there were just so many different crises happening all at the same time, and we were still trying to strategically roll out his campaign platform, that it was just cacophony of a whole bunch of different things happening at the same time. But you know what? If I survived the plastic sofa covers like Josean did, I could survive anything. So I want to leave you guys with those things: the analogy of the umbrella and the prongs of the umbrella, the strategy versus tactics. And I also wanted to leave you with: get used to feeling uncomfortable. It'll make or break a whole bunch of things for you. And the 30-60-90 day rule. And if anybody wants more, Jill will share a link with more information about the 30-60-90 rule. And I may have to hop off soon. I got pulled into a meeting, but if anybody wants to find me on LinkedIn, I am very easy to find. If you just put my first and last name and like mayor's office, New York City, you'll find me.